Welcome to Confident HR Conversations, the podcast for HR professionals who know what they want to say in meetings, but they struggle to say it in English clearly. I'm Alena Konečná, and in each episode, we break down real HR situations and show you what to say and how to say it with confidence. What if leadership isn't a title given to you by a company, but an ownership mindset you choose to take through your actions? What if the secret to leading effectively isn't about changing your personality, but about deeply understanding how you and the people around you perceive the world and recharge your batteries? Today's guest is Tomáš Ptáček, a trainer, coach, and facilitator from Project U. Today, we're diving into Jungian preferences, why leadership is actually a service, and how to investigate exactly what your people need from you to perform at their best. Welcome, Tomáš. Welcome to Confident HR Conversations. Thank you so much for joining us today in this episode, where we will dive into Jungian preferences. Thank you for coming.
Well, welcome as well, and thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
Excellent. So, before we jumped into this call, we had a conversation, Tomáš, and one thing that you said resonated with me, and that's leadership is taken, not given. And I'd like to know, what exactly do you mean when you say that leadership is an ownership mindset?
Well, I'm happy that it touched, because that's what I feel that leadership is about. And I mean that you take the task, or you take the project, or you take the responsibility for the delivery of the project, no matter what's on your contract. And that makes the leadership a leadership, I would say.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is about proactivity, but could you tell us a little bit more? What's the difference between when people kind of expect the leadership to be given, or what it means for them to actually take the more proactive stance and take the ownership?
Well, I believe that there's a lot of problems in this world that we have to face. Everybody, all of us, no matter the position that we do. But there's one thing that we all have in common, and that might be, why do we keep waiting for someone else to do things, or why do we keep waiting for someone else to teach us things, right? So that's what I mean with this. I mean, like, okay, I don't have to wait until I have a contract for a manager position, but I still can do good things for my company or for my team. And it does not have to be said with a contract stating that I'm the leader of the people. I still can, take care of the people, even though I'm their colleague only. So that's how I mean it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's like not waiting for some kind of an external permission to take ownership for our acts and for
Exactly.
being an active team member.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's where it comes from, right? If I feel safe, if I feel good, of course, and that's the role of the leader, I would say as well. But if I feel safe and if I feel good, then I feel the ownership, and I can take the task, and I can make the things better, no matter what we do, and we still can, innovate and make things better. So that's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you. One thing that you do with your organization Project U is that you train people, or you guide them through this terminology, sorry, it's not the right way to say that, but the way of looking at how people work and how people lead and want to be led. And you call it, or it's called Jungian preferences. Can you tell us why is this important when it comes to teams to talk about it, to know about it?
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, first thing, what we need to understand before we look into the Jungian preferences is that we all want to, or we all lead the way we want to be led, or we all lead the way we prefer to be led. That's maybe a better description. The thing is that I uh, I prefer to be led my way. And since I'm very different from the other people, they probably prefer to be led their way. So this is the first thing that we need to know as leaders, that not everybody is the same. And it doesn't have to be necessarily true that our leadership style is the best ever there. All right. So it's not about what I, as a leader, want to do. It's more about what my people, what my team needs are, and which are their needs in leadership. So maybe some of them needs more data, some of them maybe needs more support, and some of them maybe needs more patience, I would say, or logic.
Mm. So what it means to me is that being leader is not having some specific set of tools or specific personality. I think people imagine leaders to be extroverted, maybe more, um, maybe louder in the room, but it's about ability to tune into and to understand what different people might need and lead them in that way rather than having their own specific way of leadership. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that a combination of that, what I'm trying to say. And of course, yes, because it's about understanding, right? If you think about that, then who is doing the job in the end? It's always the people. So no matter uh, what is your leadership preferences, in the end, it's always the people who do the job. In the end, it's always the people who do the work. So you're there to serve, right? You're not there to rule. At least there's something what I believe in, that you're there to serve the team, you're there to serve the people to bring the best results they can, right? And for that, you need to understand what the people need. Uh, it makes total sense, right? If I'm leading only my way, and if I'm not looking at what my people need, then how do I want them to provide the best results ever, or the best results that we need, or the innovation that we are looking for, or the building the processes that we need? It's just not there.
Hmm.
It never will be there, because I don't give them the chance, and I don't give myself the chance to understand that they need it. So it might be a bit complicated, but in the end, it's very easy. I'm there to serve my people, and I'm there to support them to maybe bloom.
That sounds great. It's much better than maybe the more traditional picture of a leader kind of pulling the team forward, being in the front and showing the vision, which I think it's also part of leadership, right? But what you're saying is more about being with the team and meeting them where they are at as individuals and helping them bloom in whatever in whatever way they need. Hmm.
Exactly. First of all, it's we also need to comment that as well. We're talking about the team that delivers results, right? That's also very important. So, but on the other hand, it's not, black and white. It's all the combination and all the balance in between all the things that matters.
Mm. Okay. Well, let's have a look at what this can actually look like in a conversation between a team member and a leader. In this role play, we will create a environment it will be like a check-in meeting about a current project. We will go through the different Jungian preferences. There are 4 Jungian preferences, and we will see what can the leader do to work with the individual on their level, according to their needs and preferences.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the team member. You will be the leader, and I'm curious about how you will lead me, depending on my preferences.
Okay.
Great. So let's start with the first one. The first Jungian preference is called high blue, a kind of a rational type of person. And yeah, so Tomáš, I just started to work with this on this project, and I've reviewed all the documents. But I'm kind of concerned because there are no clear processes, there are not clear data validation steps, and I'm a little bit lost there. I'm not really comfortable moving forward in this case, in this state of being.
Okay, so I would ask you which part of this project feels unclear or incomplete to you right now. Can you give me some more details, please?
Yeah. So if I need to validate the data, I need to have some processes, and I'm not sure how to proceed. Yeah, there's just a little bit of a mess in the documentation now.
Mhm. So, and what exact information or context would you need to feel more confident taking the first step?
I guess some structure, like what should come first, what are the limitations, what are the guidelines.
Mhm. Okay, so would it help if we clarified the process, like priorities and checkpoints together, to have a special meeting for that to make you more, I would say, safe?
Yeah, that's definitely something that would help me move forward. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Well, if we talk about introverted thinking, if we talk about person with let's say so-called cool blue, yeah, then we need to provide a clarity, structure, maybe for sure a logic, and reduce the ambiguity. Maybe creating a structure, creating a process, but still we're there to understand. We're not there to convince the person that there is a lot of structure in that already, or that there is a lot of clarity already. It probably is not, because the person is seeking for that. Right.
Mm.
So the first thing as a leader, you ask questions, and you ask a lot of them to bring the understanding at the same table. And then, of course, if we create a meeting together to understand better, to go deep dive into these answers or into these questions, then makes sense for the person to feel better. And then if we make enough of the tasks clear, would be a lot better for the person, and it will all have a good, like, motivational factor as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like how you mentioned that if the person says there's clarity missing, it makes sense to create the clarity for this person, right? Maybe we see the structure or it's structured enough for us, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that it's enough for this person. Um, and I think that's the important point when sometimes personalities might clash.
Of course it is, and basically it was uh, also said a million times, and that we can look at the same thing, but we don't see the same thing. And that is the point, that we all can look at the same project, we all can look at the same perfect idea, but we don't see it the same way.
All right, let's move to the second profile, which is red.
Okay.
Kind of a more energetic person, and how I could how I would imagine this person. So, Tomáš, I would like to keep this meeting brief because I really have some important goals, and so I would really rather to get to work. I already noticed some few shortcuts I can use to speed the process up, and I'm looking forward to dive into that.
Fantastic. All right. So which or what outcome do you want to own? And what decision rights do you need to deliver it?
Yeah, I just want to know if it's okay if I go ahead with those shortcuts, with those steps that I came up with, and then I'm ready to go. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Okay. So, and where do you need me to remove the shortcuts or to
Mm,
agree on them?
yeah,
Right? Is there another layer of discussion that we need, or what? How can I support you in this?
I guess all I need is your approval so that I can say to the team that we're good to go, and we can move forward. And that's pretty much it. Maybe if you can let me know the final deadline so that we can be clear on that, that would be helpful.
For sure. All right. The final deadline is not a problem, but tell me maybe which details that we forgot to mention here, or have you been thinking through all the details? What are you missing with those shortcuts?
Details. Okay. Well, maybe it would be good to have a look at the work distribution in the team so that we know that we're not overloading some of the people. That might be actually good to do before we move forward. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, then let's organize a short meeting that when we go through the priorities and where we set up the plan. If you're okay with that.
Sound good. Yeah.
Good. Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. What do we need to bring here is that we have to give a clear direction, agree on the boundaries, and then delegate the real ownership, and maybe avoiding the slowing down. Which and you could maybe feel it very well that when I asked about the details, only the word details is like, oh my god, right? Um, but those are sometimes needed, right? So we need to keep the pace, we need to keep the ownership, we need to keep the target clear, and put the unnecessary processes into the minimum level with this fiery red person, I would say. But also, that's what I learned in my leadership is that it's always good to be there faster, right? But it's always good to have the details in their mind as well, because sometimes we tend to forget about the details, and sometimes we tend to, not taking care right now, but the problem gets later twice bigger, as much. It's just twice bigger as we thought it might be. So
Mm,
that's a bit of a trap here. We can get
yeah.
there faster, but sometimes we forget about something. So my advice, yeah, keep the pace, but don't forget about the details.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I think in this case it was quite visible, and I'm sure that you go into details when you work with your clients about that. But that probably each of those profiles or preferences have their pros and cons, right? Strengths and weaknesses. And as a leader, it's not just about catering to the people's needs, but also keeping in mind that they might need some pushes and pulls in those places where they might overlook, for example, in this case, the details. Let's go to green. Um, all right. So the project is moving. It's all right. What I'm worried about is the team because I've noticed some change of the morale. I'm not sure what is happening, but I really want to make sure that everyone feels on the same page before we move forward.
Okay. So, what feels the most challenging or uncomfortable about this change for you?
Hmm. I noticed some bickering in the last team meeting, and I think it might be a symptom of some underlying conflicts. And I don't think it's a good idea to move forward unless we address that.
Hey, understood. And what would help you feel more supported or more secure in this project from my
Mm.
perspective?
Maybe knowing if there is some flexibility with the deadlines in case there are actually some hurdles in the project, and we might need to take some more time to address them. and maybe redistribute some tasks. I'm not sure what the solution will be. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And how can I personally support you in this?
Mm, well, maybe some clarity on the deadlines, like how far we can push them, what are the limits, so that I can communicate it to the team and have some clarity.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I'll bring it up on the table.
Okay.
Yeah. So now what we did with the high with the earth green personality or preference, I would say, which is introverted feeling, they always are asking the question like, what's the impact on the people, right? Because that's their preference. So the question is always like, what feels the most challenging or uncomfortable about this change for you? Because you're probably that type of person, and I need to build the trust. I need to create the safeties or safe space, and I need to, find a space to build the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, stabilize. I would say build trust. That's the first, and try to understand what is the problem from the person perspective. So we're talking about the deadlines and asking a question: how can we postpone them, or if we can postpone them at least? That might be a question coming from a relation to the people. So the team is already overloaded with that, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like how again you turn the question into what do I or what do you need? What does the employee need, instead of trying to immediately come up with a solution, or um, trying to come up with the reasons behind, and before actually exploring and investigating the situation. Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So before I can make a decision or make up or like a co-create a plan with you, how do we move forward there? Then I need to understand your concerns there. And no matter which preferences do you have, whether you are, let's say, cool blue or fiery red or earth green, it doesn't matter that much. It matters. What matters is my style right now. And if I'm not giving you what you need, then how does this will resolve?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the last one, yellow. Uh,
Okay.
all right. So I've been thinking about the project vision, and I have some really exciting ideas about how we can make the final presentation like really wow. And I know we've already kind of almost created, but I think there's still some opportunities for me to put something more exciting. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Okay, that sounds fun. Which of your ideas you believe would create the biggest impact? What
Mm.
do you think?
Well, to be honest, I have more ideas, but maybe we could set up a quick meeting with the team and maybe brainstorm some more. Because I really think that right now um, the presentation is kind of flat, but the project really deserves something a little bit a wow, let's say more something more interesting.
All right. All right. And so the point is that the meeting will be about how can we build some creativity into the plan. But my point is that we cannot lose the focus on the key goal. So as long as all the ideas are following the key goal still, then it might be very interesting idea to do this thing. Okay.
Yeah.
What would be the fastest way to test the ideas before we fully commit into that?
Hmm. Well, maybe I can create a few. Well, I can show a couple of my ideas and what this could look like in the presentation. And if maybe it sparks some interest in the team and maybe they come up with more ideas, we might figure it out together in a meeting.
Perfect. Yeah, I love that. Let's involve everybody and let's work all this together. I think that might work uh, as a good team thing.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, the point is that with the sunshine yellow, we
Mm.
cannot calm down.
Mm.
Yeah, that would kill the enthusiasm. So we have to like be trying to shaping these things to something useful, right? If you there's a one big and nice rule for the sunshiny yellow personality, which is extroverted feeling, which is involve me and involve people, because we can do this together. And that's like encouraging the energy, maybe focusing on the energy, using the energy might be very helpful tool. But again, there's another part of this. Uh, there's a lot of ideas popping up, but not all of them will be useful, and not all of them will be helping the project to be better. Right. So that's what we need to keep looking at as well.
Well, thank you for showing how a leader can work with different personalities, what they need to keep in mind, both in what the person might need and what kind of support they might need. Now, I'm sure that it's not always easy to realize what personality type or what kind of preference everyone in their team has. But do you have any advice for people, for leaders, or for people in the team, how they can start noticing those preferences so that they can start tuning into what could be the best way to serve them, to lead them, and to support them?
Well, we've gone through only one small part, right? But the general question which that everybody can start tomorrow morning with is that, what do you need from me that you're not getting?
Hmm.
So if you get there to the person you lead, ask them the question, what do you need from me that you're not getting? Most probably you will hear answers like, oh, I don't know. But that's good. That's also a good answer. But it's good to start asking these questions to the people that I lead. It helped me a lot to understand who do I serve to, right? Because some of the people, some of the people's answers have surprised me. Back then they told me like, hey, I need more clarity in all your delegation tasks and everything. Or I need more structure. I don't understand how you can do blah 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 blah. So I've been receiving feedbacks a lot, but only with this question and with the my willingness to understand what the points are from people, and we came to the higher mutual understanding. So again, what do you need from me that you're not getting? It's
Hmm.
always the golden thing, I would say, because they will tell you their preferences.
Yeah. Hmm. That's a great question. I can imagine it can be very uncomfortable to ask it the first time. But as you say, I think it's a great point to start from so that the people start to think actually about their preferences and how they can communicate them to you if this is the first time they will be doing that, right? So I can imagine it will take time, but yeah, I think I'm gonna actually try that next time.
All right, let me know how did it go.
Yeah.
But that will take you somewhere that you has never been before. So that's
Mm.
something what we all want and what we all need.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. All right. Well, thank you, Tomáš, for so much for giving us a peek into what you do and how you work and what kind of um, support you provide to your clients. And that's pretty much coming to the close of the episode. But I would like to ask you, how can people find you, and what can you offer? And yeah, how do you work with people and companies now?
All right. So thank you very much for having me once again. I really enjoyed that. You can find me or our company on www. That's crazy to say. So anyway, it's projectu.cz. You can find us on LinkedIn, or you can find us on all the social media, and etc. And what do we do is actually that we help people grow. We help people grow. We build workshops which are gamified and where you can learn and where you can try and a safe environment to be better. And that's maybe that. So this is the way we do it.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your work. And I actually reached out to you because one of my clients was talking about you and her experience with your company, with your workshop. So, so it's definitely working.
Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. Really
All right.
happy that it worked well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Before your next HR meeting, notice where you hesitate. Is it vocabulary, structure, or confidence under pressure? If you want clarity on what's actually blocking you and what you can do with it, take the HR Communicator Diagnostic in the description. It is free, it takes 3 minutes, and it shows you where to focus first.